What's goody, everybody? Welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be answering the Giannis Jokic debate, and I sent out a poll on TikTok. The poll results were 52% in favor of Jokic and 48% in favor of Giannis. Now, there's a lot to discuss about these two players, but I honestly think these are the two best players in the NBA, and it doesn't matter who you have, one or two, but as long as they're in the top two, you have high basketball knowledge. Now, Jokic is clearly the better offensive player overall. Like, his offensive game is better. And then Giannis is clearly a way better and more impactful defender. Jokic has also developed his defense recently, and now he's not as much of a liability as he's been in the past. And Giannis has fixed his free throw shooting. Now, before I go any further on this, I just want to say, if Giannis didn't get hurt and didn't have that back injury, he would not have missed 16 free throws in the Game 5 loss against Miami. Clearly, his back was bugging him. If I were to bet, I would bet the Bucks to win the NBA championship next year if they make the right roster move, since that roster needs to be fixed. But in fairness to both these players, I'm not going to look at their teams directly around them, because the year Giannis won the championship, and that's when he cemented his status as the quote-unquote best player in the NBA until this year, now that Jokic is doing what Jokic is doing. But that team had a great two option in Chris Middleton, and Chris Middleton has fallen off, large part due to injury and large part due to age. And now Giannis doesn't have the number two, and that's why he's been failing in the postseason these past 2 years. But if you criticize Giannis for that, you also have to look at the fact that Jokic, when Murray was out, Jokic got swept by the Suns, and they lost the Warriors last year in 5 games without Jamal Murray. So neither player is making it far without their two option. And that's why, in fairness to these guys, we're not going to talk about their teams as much as we're going to talk about the players as a whole. Another thing that I found interesting is that each time these players have been eliminated in the past few years, they've lost to the conference champions, meaning that the team they lost to was in the finals. If you look at the Nuggets, this year they're the team in the finals, so that means the only way they lose is if they lose to the team that wins it all. The year before that, they lost to the Warriors, who won it all. The year before that, they lost to the Suns, who were the West representatives in the NBA Finals. And then the year before that, in the bubble, they lost to the Lakers, who eventually won it all. If you go back to 2020 for the Bucks, they lost to the Heat, who went to the finals in the bubble. Then they won it all. Then they lost to the Celtics, who went to the finals. And this year, they lost to the Heat, who went to the finals. So Jokic and Giannis have shown that the only teams that are going to beat them are the best of the best teams. So, like, even if their team's not great, they're going to put up a fight until they meet a team that can take away the high level of play that you get from Giannis and Jokic. These players are definitely the most impactful players. They're the hardest players to beat. Like, even if they're injured, like Giannis had 38 and 20 in the game they lost, and like they didn't go down without a fight. And if Giannis never got hurt, he would have made a lot more free throws. And he was hesitant because of his injuries. And then on Jokic's side, if Murray never got hurt, we could have been talking about Jokic a lot sooner about being the best player in the NBA. But the reason these players are considered the best in the NBA is because of the postseason success they've had recently. Now, Joel Embiid won the MVP this year, and he has not made it past the second round. And that was the criticism for Giannis until they won the championship. If it wasn't for Kevin Durant's big toe, we'd be talking about Kevin Durant being the best player in the NBA over Giannis. But Giannis dominated every team but the Brooklyn Nets, and that's kind of karma for the Brooklyn Nets, but Milwaukee was more deserving of the championship, let's be honest. So we're not going to look at the team specifically, we're looking at the players. If injury concern is a big problem for you, then clearly you view Jokic as the best player in the NBA, because Giannis has had his injury issues over the years, and a lot of them have just been rough injuries, but he's played through a lot of injuries, and so does Jokic. Like, these guys are reliable when it comes postseason time. Like, Giannis was not right. He was not well at all, and he was still playing this postseason. And then Jokic, he's a big guy. He takes a lot of beatings. He plays through injuries. He might not show it because Jokic's game isn't even reliant on his athleticism. And that's why a lot of players, once they get hurt, they start to suck because they're so reliant on their athleticism and whatnot. But if you have a minor leg injury, your athleticism is not going to be there and whatnot. So that's why Jokic is able to be good even when he's hurt. So I want to look at the offense first. Shooting clearly goes to Jokic over Giannis, but scoring goes to Giannis. Giannis is a better scorer than Jokic, but Jokic is a better shooter. Now, if that doesn't make sense to you, I'll try to explain it real quick. So Jokic is a pass-first player and has crazy assist games like we just saw in Finals Game 1. He had like 14 assists, right? He's the better overall offensive player because of what he does passing and scoring wise. But Giannis is the better scorer because there's no one in the world that can stop Giannis from getting a bucket if he's healthy. Because the only way to stop Giannis is to foul him and set him to the free throw line. And when he's healthy, he's improved his free throw shooting. Now, I think Giannis is a much more improved free throw shooter. So I'm not concerned with his free throw shooting. This was just one crazy series. Like, he got hurt game 1. So Giannis is a better scorer, but Jokic is a better overall offensive basketball player. On the defensive side, it's not even close. Giannis is a better defender. He's more impactful defensively. He's switchable. He can guard a point guard. He can guard anybody 1 through 5. And I honestly think Giannis should consider playing the center position. But that's a topic for a different day. Given all the information we have about these two players, I personally think Giannis is the better basketball player. You want Giannis on your team more than you want Jokic on your team. And it's clear to me why. It's because both teams need shooters around them and need players around them. But Giannis does more on both ends of the floor, in my opinion. So that makes him the best player, in my opinion. Like, I'm going to be making my top NBA position players based on each position and then my overall list. And these guys are going to be 1 and 2 on my list. But I like to factor in defense and offense and then overall impact on a game. And I use 3 numbers and rank them and then average the numbers out and whatnot. And then that's how I get my list. Giannis brings so much defensively and so much offensively. And everyone is so amazed with Jokic's playmaking right now. Well, we forget that Giannis averages, like, when he's playing at his best, he averages a triple-double. And he gets 38, 20, and probably 8 assists on average when he's like, yeah, I'm here. I want to play, and I'm the best player in the planet right now when he's healthy. And that's why I think Giannis is the best player. Like, Jokic and Giannis are literally 1A and 1B. If it wasn't for Jokic's finals run this year, everyone would agree that Giannis is the best player in the NBA. And that's just the truth. Now, Giannis really does need to win more in the playoffs, but he's been really unlucky. And so has Jokic. They've both been far in the postseason, and they end up losing to the teams that make it to the finals or win the championship. So that's just unlucky. I'm not faulting them for that at all. So Giannis is the most dominant player in the NBA right now. There's no doubt in my mind about that. He imposes fear into your eyes. No one wants to take a charge on Giannis. No one wants to have to guard Giannis. So I think that you take Giannis over Jokic in a debate. Thank you for watching. Follow my Instagram and follow my TikTok. Make sure you like and subscribe and share this video with your friends. Let me know 2 players you want to see me debate and send out in polls and whatnot. And as always, this has been Bold Hoops with Jay Hoopa. Bye.